Hello, everybody. This is our 36th best move of all time in our Analyze with Me greatest 50 moves of all time series. So, hopefully, you've seen some of our videos before, but if not, we just play the game. And then when the pieces stop moving, that means that we're going to examine the position and try to figure out what the amazing move is in that position. So, this game is from 1970, being played between two people's names I cannot pronounce: Marangunic and Ljubojevic, maybe. And black is Ljubojevic. So this game is pretty equal up until the last couple of moves, and when black takes advantage, which is right about now, and the piece stops, which means this is the move. So in this position, what does black do? Take a minute. There's only three pieces really that are left on the board for black, so not a lot of options to choose from. And write it in the comments if you think you know what it is, and don't write in the comments after you've already seen the answer. That is clearly not. That's cheating, right? So we will see what the move is. Again, pause it if you're not sure yet. So in this position, black plays the pretty astounding, even though it's relatively simple, rook to b1. Again, there's only three pieces in the position. The black bishop really can't go anywhere, so that probably wasn't an option. The queen, unless it's looking for some sort of sacrifice, not there. The rook's the only piece. So the question becomes, why does rook to b1 earn this 36th greatest move ever spot? Partly because it's so simple, partly because the idea is very nice and elegant. In the game, white resigned. White's like, okay, I understand what's going to happen here. Let me call it a day. But we'll look at some of the options. Queen takes is the first idea, which is an average player probably would just take it because let's see what happens. And the answer here is pretty simple. The powerful pawn to f3 is the one that calls it a day. You can see that it's mate in 3, so white has what's called spite checks, and that is just where you check even though you've lost the game. So, for example, white could come back and say queen to b8 check, block with the bishop, queen takes check, you take with the king, and now there's no more spite checks, and so this is where no matter what move white decides to make here, he moves the rook out of the way. Queen to g2, checkmate. So that's what happens if white takes the rook. What else could white try here? White could, try to defend the rook because it's being attacked twice. And so the problem here is, you can see mate in 2, it's actually the same move. Pawn to f3. Now, the problem is that the queen is trying to do too much. It's trying to protect the rook. It's trying to hopefully not get taken by the pawn. So if it takes the pawn, the rook slides in for checkmate. And if it tries to, let's say it moves out of the way to not be taken by the pawn, well, now you have checkmate anyway. And the last sort of good attempt that white could try here, instead of moving the queen, instead of taking the rook, you actually can go knight to f5. And you can see from the evaluation bar, it stays where it was. And that's a weird looking move, but that's the only move that leads to the game going on for a little bit longer. So if black was to take the knight, he loses the rook. So in this position, the rook could just take the queen. And now, in order to not be mate just yet, or no, sorry, where does it go here? So, just take. Sorry, takes rook, and then if you push the pawn, which has been mate before, now you can go knight to h4, and the idea that knight is stopping that checkmate. So white is still losing because eventually black is going to get its bishop, wants to attack this knight, and then once this knight is out of the way, mate is coming. So that's a temporary delay but that was actually white's best chance, is to just give up the queen for the rook and try to keep playing on. So that is our 36 most amazing move ever. Again, not a hard one to find tactically, but very simple idea of just pushing that pawn eventually to f3 and threatening checkmate. So if you enjoyed that video, hopefully you learned something. Like and subscribe, and check out some more of our videos in this series down over here. Okay, thanks for watching.